Radio. So today, me and my cousin Andrew, we're gonna go out and try to cut some buck tracks. It's muzzleloader season right now. Snow is deep as ever. Tracking through the snow is definitely gonna be a challenge, as it has been so far. But I think that one of the biggest challenges is gonna be finding a good fresh track that isn't just sloshed in with a bunch of other tracks, because we don't have any fresh snow. We're gonna go try to track a buck. Yeah. Over there, I think there's some main roads that should be opened up. I don't really feel like bushwhacking it through the snow.
Yeah?
Because I just don't want to spend the whole day trying to dig us out. If we get stuck back there, it's going to be a ways in.
Is that all public land over there?
Oh yeah, pretty much. It was supposed to snow all of, for 4 hours yesterday. But I guess it was only like 30 to 50% chance, so...
Yeah.
Let's just write that road right there. And I'm going to go to this road right here. And I'm going to take this up. Now, mine doesn't get to public land until I cut up this way. And it seems like to me they don't plow any of these back roads during the winter.
Much, no.
Now, if we like drive all these roads and like nothing happens, I think it might be worth going back over to this area, because last year I tracked a buck just right up in there.
If we need to go somewhere too, I know the area down south here.
Okay.
I know that area really well.
Okay, and we can always do that too. But I think if we check these, we should have a chance at finding a track, because I mean that's from there all the way up to there. That's a 20-mile drive.
Yes.
So I mean, in 20 miles, if you can't find a track in 20 miles, you know, I don't think the deer are gonna be traveling super far either.
If we find a track.
If we find a track,
and if it's in a food area, they're gonna be bedded down within 100 yards.
Yeah, they I can't imagine that they would go too far, because the snow is just, I mean, it's like 30 inches deep, so it's gonna suck tracking through it. But
you gotta go slow anyways.
Yeah, so you gotta.
It won't be bad.
You try to find your own track, I'll try to find my own track. Obviously, if we can only find one track,
we'll have to do something.
Just do something together. But
we're gonna find lots of tracks.
It's
just make sure it's fresh.
Yeah,
so
make sure. Yeah,
that's
the big
wind blowing it, or
Well,
let's just start driving.
Yeah,
and
let's start doing it.
By the time we get over there, it'll be light. So.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, so Andrew just texted me and said that he found a track that looks pretty big, and it's a solo track. He thinks it's about 24 hours old, though. But with this snow, chances are that deer has not traveled a whole long distance, and so he's going to go in and try to go after that thing. So that encourages me a little bit. I've been basically having to drive main roads because none of the back roads are plowed. It's just terrible. You know, trying to find a track, though, on a main road is not going so good right now. Partly because I just don't think that the big deer like to cross these roads as much. But there's always a chance, and then the other dilemma is that there's so many vehicles driving on this road that it would brush out or blow out any tracks that are currently on the road. So we'll see. I'm still just basically just following whatever roads are plowed and, you know, seeing if I can cut something, but still possible. Anything can happen at this point. All right, so I've been driving around for quite a while now, and I finally found a back road that is plowed. And there's a nice, fresh, thin coat of powder on the road. This is going to be really nice. Hopefully I can find a good track. I also love this type of woods that we have here. This is like absolutely perfect conditions for tracking, because you get these hardwood ridges, and then you get these low dense conifers, and man, it just gives this like nice backdrop of open and cover, so you can see a ways but not too much, so should be able to get a poke at a deer if I can get after one. So just gotta find a track, hopefully. All right, so I found a track. Not a huge track, but it's not a bad one. You know, when I look at it compared to all the other tracks, it's much bigger. But he's probably, 2¼ inch wide track, which isn't huge, but it's the best I got to work with. And I don't want to keep driving around on main roads because I just don't think that I'm going to have a good chance there. So this one measures out about 2¼ inches wide by about 3 inches long on the track itself. It's not crazy fresh, not crazy big, but it's the best I got to work with. So we're just going to go with it. Ooh, yeah. Getting out the smoke stick. Here we go. Okay. All of a sudden there's like tons of tracks everywhere and beds up here. I'm not sure if this is him, these tracks here. That's why I'm gonna have to make a loop around this area because there's too much going on here to really sort it all out, especially when you can't see the tracks, but they seem to be feeding on something in here. They seem to really like it, and a lot of poop in this area, but nothing looks crazy fresh. So one thing nice about this deep snow is that if you look, that's tarsal gland peeing on his hocks and then dragging it through the snow. It's like this stain that he leaves in the snow on the inside. And this deer's also been peeing on the ground. So I found a track that's exiting, and his gate looked pretty wide. So I'm starting to follow it a little bit, and I found the first pee spot. And the thing I like about this, though, is if you notice, he's got drips all over the place. It's like he keeps dripping, just like a big buck would. Okay, so now just a little bit further up, I can see he came and pawed out this whole area all himself. Dug it all up, right underneath all these trees. And now looking at it, I think that he's going after the acorns. Those are, I believe, red oaks. Okay, so this is cool. I can see that his tine marks are right there. Main beam kind of scrapes the snow all the way there. And then it looks like a beam kind of scrapes right there as well. He's probably got a 16-inch spread from the tips of his antlers. So actually that might be pretty good. Some more antler marks right there, right in the snow. I mean, I think he's a pretty impressive deer based off of what I'm seeing there. The acorns. So he likes this area because he can eat all the acorns. Digs out all these spots. He made another dig spot. This one really shows off his spread. You can see right here, tine mark, and right here. So that I put my hands up next to it, and that's at least 18 inches wide. This dude is a stud. Alright, so good news. I've caught up to the buck. His bed right here. And then there's running tracks that are exiting off that way. My truck is parked right over there. I entered the woods right over there. So my guess is that I boogered this deer as soon as I parked my vehicle and got his running tracks went to. But either way, I know that I'm caught up to him. So now I just gotta play my cards right. The wind is slightly to his advantage right now. It's kind of going a little bit towards the direction of where he ran to. So hopefully he doesn't get too wigged out. But maybe I'll get a shot at a beautiful buck. I know he's a nice buck because I've seen the antler prints in the snow. So that also gets a guy like fired up. Ooh. I'm just gonna kind of wait here for a little bit, let things settle down a little bit, and then we'll get after him. Now, one thing though about this spot where he is bedded, if you notice, it's kind of like a ridge down that way, ridge that way. The whole thing is kind of a point that he's on right here. So he's up on the military crest, that's the top, right there. It kind of planes down, and then all of a sudden, at this point right here, that's when it really starts to drop off. So he's sitting right up on the edge. Pizza. Gotta get my nutrition up here if I'm going to chase after this buck. It's been about 40 minutes since the time when I found the bed. I think that things have settled down enough at this point, and I'm going to probably start poking along here and try to catch up to this buck. I got really good visuals here, which is really nice. I can see a long ways, as you can see behind me. The only problem is he'll be able to peg me if he's paying attention to any movement. And hopefully the wind gives me the right advantage here, because right now I think he's got it. So either way, I gotta go for him. So stay tuned. Okay, so he's starting to take smaller steps, but when he was bounding back that way, he was taking giant leaps, like huge leaps. That makes me think he got a really good look at me, because he's already gone probably 100, 150 yards. He was back up on that ridge, back up right over there. Alright, got out to the end of the point here. He J-hooked into his bed. Sucks. This was he had every advantage in this spot. There was no way I was ever going to sneak up on that deer. The wind is blowing right from the direction I was coming from, so he could probably smell me for a long time. And then he ran off down the hill over this way. I'm running out of daylight here, so I'm going to probably try to just keep going here. It's still semi-fresh, because I can still move it around in his track. I can't believe how long that deer ran. He must have been exhausted. Alright, so this buck has been bringing me through the ringer here. He's up on that point, boogered me a second time. There was no chance I had him there. And then now he's just crossed this little river or little creek or whatever you want to call it. And I'm not too interested in getting my foot wet, but sometimes sacrifices have to be made. You can actually see where he walked across this creek and drug up some mud and stuff. Well, he hosed me again. And there we have the next bed that I bumped him out of with running drags. And what direction does he go? Straight upwind. Or no, straight downwind. Had to think about that for a sec. This duty has kept me upwind of him the entire time. What a sucker. Oh my gosh, he's driving me nuts. I mean, it's like you can't get close to him. He had me pegged before I even probably crossed the creek. This is the type of deer that's so good at survival that he's almost impossible to kill. Unless you somehow get lucky. This deer is playing everything to his advantage. We'll just keep running him to the ground until it's time to go. I only got probably 15, 20 more minutes that I can actually hunt, though. That's the problem. Alright, bud. You win this time. Gosh. I really wish I knew what that deer looked like. It just drives me nuts. What a hunt. What a flippin' hunt. Well, it sounds like Andrew had an interesting day tracking his buck. So, had a wolf encounter and all sorts of weird stuff, but he's got a long hike back to the truck, so he's in for a good one too. Tell you what, that's what it's all about right there. The adventure, the hunt, the pursuit. I enjoy that way more than sitting in a deer stand. When you're actively pursuing an animal, hunting it down, trying to put your skills against that animal's skill. I mean, it's unreal. If you've never tried this type of hunting, you need to do it. What are you waiting for? Go find some bigwoods. Go get some snow. Track a buck. I'm hooked for life on this type of hunting. And I'm thinking this is how I'm gonna gun hunt forever. I love it. Nothing will teach you more about a mature buck than following his tracks. You learn where he lives, where he beds. You get to see his survival skills and how he reacts when he is hunted. It's eye-opening. Something interesting is that this buck would bed on the leeward side of the ridges so that I couldn't see him because he was shielded by the ridge, and yet he knew where I was because he could smell me. The only way I could have killed this deer is if I would have gotten 20 yards from him. He knew what he was doing. My only regret is that I went too slow in the beginning. I ended up wasting hours of daylight still hunting this deer when I should have been pushing him hard in the deep snow to force him to make a mistake. All I really needed this deer to do was head in a direction where he wouldn't have the wind advantage. Fortunately, I do get another crack at this deer, but you're going to have to wait for the next film to see that hunt.